Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'd like to call this meeting of the Brick Township Council to order. Madam Clerk.
Adequate notice of this meeting was provided and published in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on February 8, 2019. Copies of the agenda were provided to the newspaper, posted on public bulletin boards and the Township website.
Thank you. At this time, would everyone please turn off or silence their cell phone? And Madam Clerk, if you would send around the basket for council cell phones. Thank you. I would like to, I'm sorry, roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Here.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Here.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Here.
Councilman Mamalo.
Here.
Councilman Halloran. Vice President Crate.
Here.
President Zapsik.
Here.
Thank you.
Now I would like to call up Weeblo Pack 39 to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence. Would everyone please rise? Gentlemen?
It's a big pack. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the August 27th meeting. Motion.
Second.
Motion by Vice President Crate, seconded by Councilman Mamalo. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Mamalo.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alrighty, this evening we have a number of presentations. First up is our Kids for Canines check presentation. Chief Riccio, would you come forward? And Maya and Colleen, please come to the front. And our canine officers.
Puppies. Vader.
Ladies?
On behalf of my department and our canine unit, I just want to thank you once again for this very generous check for all your hard work.
Chief, microphone.
They won't bite. I want a puppy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. This evening, we're also recognizing the athletic achievements of two young men, one from Brick Memorial High School, one from Brick Township High School. Mayor, if you would join me at the podium. And may I have Vincent Santinello come up? Vincent is currently a junior at Brick Memorial High School. His career record as a wrestler is 77-9, 77 wins, 9 losses. He is a 2-time district champion, a 1-time regional champion, a 2-time state place winner, taking 8th in his freshman year and 3rd in his sophomore year. He's currently ranked 14th in the country by Intermat and 17th by Flow Wrestling. He's the 64th best overall junior in the country and has an overall GPA of 3.5. Vincent, it's my pleasure on behalf of the council to award you the certificate of recognition. Thank you so much and congratulations. And then from Brick Township High School, we have Evan Talmadge. Evan, there you are. And I have to apologize, Vincent's coach, Coach Mike Kiley is here tonight, too. Do you want to stand and let us? Thank you. So Evan is currently a sophomore at Brick Township High School. He has a record of 33 wins and 5 losses. He is a district champion, a regional runner-up, a New Jersey state qualifier, and a New Jersey freestyle state champion, a New Jersey Greco state champion, and a Fargo freestyle national champion. He is currently ranked 11th in the country by Flow Wrestling and has an overall GPA of 3.5. Evan, on behalf of the Brick Township Council, I'm pleased to present you with the Certificate of Achievement. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Thank you. You want to do yours first?
Keeping of the theme of the night so far of wrestling, is Tony Caravella here. Mr. Caravella, come on up, coach. Brick Township is fortunate to have been called home by many outstanding individuals who have contributed greatly to our community. One such individual is Tony Caravella, who until his retirement in 2012 played a significant role in the education of the young people of Brick Township, teaching social studies, developing curriculum, and coaching students. Upon its opening in 1980, Tony Caravella established a wrestling program at Brick Memorial High School, and as head coach of the Brick Memorial High School Mustangs wrestling team, built one of the most consistently successful high school athletic programs in the entire state of New Jersey. Under his leadership, the Mustangs ranked in the top 20 in New Jersey every year from 1983 until 2002, with 317 victories, finishing first in the state in 1986 and 1994, along with 19 district championships, 12 Shore Conference championships, 10 South Jersey sectionals, 5 Group 3 titles, and in 1993 won Beast of the East. Under Coach Caravella's tutelage, Mustang wrestlers won 120 individual district championships, 44 regional championships, 42 finished the season as state medalists, and 4 won NJSIAA state championships. Throughout his storied career, Coach Caravella received numerous accolades for these accomplishments, including the 2018 Harry E. Lake Award by the New Jersey Interscholastic Association for his long years of service and outstanding contributions to wrestling. On Sunday, September 15, 2019, his efforts were recognized with a Lifetime Service Award by the New Jersey chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame for his years of dedication to the development of leadership and citizenship to youth throughout the sport of wrestling. For all of these reasons, I, John G. Ducey, the mayor of the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean in the state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim tomorrow, Wednesday, September 25th, 2019, to be Coach Tony Caravella Day.
Don't go away. Wait, there's more. So, Coach, on behalf of the Brick Township Council, I'm pleased to present you with this resolution, commending you and thanking you for your many accomplishments on your vital role to bringing national recognition to our community and to Brick Memorial High School through the wrestling program. Thank you very much. Thank you. And then I would like to ask Chief Riccio to come back up, along with Joe Polowitz and Joe Gilsonen, join the mayor at the podium for our CERT team graduation.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're here to recognize members of our community who recently joined the ranks of BRIC's Community Emergency Response Team, otherwise known as CERT. These members just completed the required training, and tonight they will be receiving their training certificates. The training, I can tell you, isn't easy and takes approximately 9 weeks to complete. Some of the areas the members received training in were first aid and bleeding control, disaster preparedness, fire suppression, and light search and rescue operations, and psychology. A little bit of background on the program. The Community Emergency Response Team concept originated in 1987 in Los Angeles by the Los Angeles Fire Department. It was following a major earthquake. They realized there was a need to train the citizens so that during a major disaster they could help others and themselves. Because, as we know, oftentimes emergency services in a crisis get overwhelmed and they can't respond in a timely manner. Our BRIC team was started in 2009 and was then comprised of 15 members. Since then, the team has grown to 42 members. Since the inception, the team has been a great resource. They've spent countless hours working alongside our emergency workers at various scenes that have required security or traffic control, like Summerfest, Fall Fest, Trunk or Treat, and of course they played a big part in assisting us and my personnel during Superstorm Sandy and the months afterwards. One very important thing to point out is that the members of this team are not paid. They volunteer their time because they are that interested in helping our community when help is needed most. We are very fortunate in BRIC to have so many that are willing to volunteer their time and to help the community, and this is just one of those examples. As I said, our team originated in 2009, making this the team's 10-year anniversary. So I would like to congratulate our newest members. I look forward to working with each of you. And a very big thank you to our team and for all the work that you have done and will continue to do for your dedication and service to our community. And as always, I would like to thank Mayor Ducey, our business administrator, Joanne Bergen, and all of our council members for supporting this and all of our programs. So with that, I will call up each of our members and we will give you your certificates. And I hope I don't butcher your names, but... Actually, we have 11 members that are graduating tonight for BRIC, and then there's also one member for Lakewood and Jackson. And I also need to thank my deputy OEM coordinator, Joe Polowitz, and Joe Gilsonen, they put on this program. They're the coordinators of it. They get assistance from our Fire Bureau and our Police EMS in training these folks. But these two guys put in a lot of time with this program. So thank you, Joe and Joe. Okay, our first trainee is Catherine Christopher. You can come up here. And for the Lakewood team, Donna Feldhan. Anthony Guido. Linda Guido. Beatrice Lustbader. Okay. She couldn't be here tonight, but Christine Paschusi, she was from Jackson team. Next, Marjorie Polowitz. Rhonda Polowitz. Corinne Redman. Alan Soyster. Christine Starr. Christopher Troiano. And James Vitale.
You're perfect where you are. So how about if they address the service people, can they get up and run?
Yeah, sure. We'll get out of the way.
So, if you guys up on days, it's the only way to do it, so I don't sit on the floor.
You can stay for the
No way pets and glasses.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Mayor.
Congratulations. What a beautiful
God bless you.
It's originated in LA. Got a little history on it, which is good. Manpower. That's manpower. That's right. I'll be next.
We are now on to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk?
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Resolution 4-1.
Recognize Tony Caravella, NJ, Chapter of National Wrestling Hall of Fame recipient.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution recognizes Coach Tony Caravella's induction into the New Jersey chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Under the leadership of Tony Caravella, God help me for getting an Italian name wrong, the Brick Memorial High School Mustangs has developed into one of the most successful in the state of New Jersey, amassing 317 victories, 19 team district titles, 12 Shore Conference titles, 10 seasonal titles, and 5 group state titles. Coach Caravella has played a vital role in bringing national recognition to our community and to Brick Memorial High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution 4-2.
Recognize Kathy Lindenbaum, 2019 to 2021 New Jersey PTA President.
Thank you. Vice President Crate?
Thank you. This resolution recognizes Kathy Lindenbaum as the 2019 through 2021 New Jersey PTA President. Mrs. Lindenbaum has served on the Drum Point Elementary and Lake Riviera Middle School PTA, holding all executive positions except treasurer, and additionally served on the Brick Township High School PTSA as corresponding secretary and president. Thanks, Kathy, and all PTA volunteers for all they do to support the students, families, teachers, administrators, and schools in this and every community.
Thank you. Resolution 4-3.
Authorize receipt of bids, purchase and delivery of signed materials.
Vice President Crate?
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for the purchase and delivery of sign materials. This bid is for an item-per-item basis for the purchase and delivery of sign supplies to include sign blanks, pre-made signs, street signs, stencils, and ink cartridges used by the Township Sign Shop. To date, the Township had an approximate expenditure of $64,000 during this current 2-year contract period, which will expire on December 8th, 2019.
Thank you. Resolution 4-4.
Authorize receipt of bids, tree trimming, removal, and disposal services.
Thank you. Councilman Mamalo, please.
Thank you, Madam President. This resolution authorizes receipt of bids for tree trimming, removal, and disposal service. The bid is for all necessary tree trimming, removal, and disposal that cannot be done in-house. Work will include the removal of dead, dying, diseased, interfering, objectionable, and weak branches, and/or a complete removal of the entire tree, including the grinding or removal of a stump and all exposed roots to a depth of 6 inches below the adjacent existing ground level. Chips removed and replaced with fill dirt upon request. The township had an approximate expenditure of $25,000 during the current 2-year contract period with Falkenberg Tree Expert Company. The contract will expire on December 6, 2019.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 4-5.
Authorize 2019-2020 taxi cab business renewals.
Thank you. Councilwoman DeYoung?
Thank you. This resolution authorizes taxi cab renewal licenses to the following: A, Ace Taxi Service, B, Brick Taxi, and C, Mantalooking Taxi, LLC.
Thank you. Resolution 4-6.
Authorize placement of tax liens for property cleanups.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the placement of tax liens at 473 Myrtle Avenue in the amount of $198.01, 472 Myrtle Avenue in the amount of $127.02, 747 Cherry Lane in the amount of $89.12, 1457 Princess Avenue in the amount of $308.40, 125 Richard Street in the amount of $76.29, and 28 Adams Drive in the amount of $75.38. I have the reports from the code officials of these properties. 2 are bank-owned, 2 have been sold at tax sale, 1 is owned by HUD, and the 6th one is vacant and the owner is deceased. And that ends our consent agenda. May I have a motion and a second to end the consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Mamalo, second by Vice President Crate. Open to council for questions or comments.
I have a comment, Council President.
Yes, Councilman Cosner.
Since we're talking about resolutions here, I have another resolution I'd like to read that I'd like to be put on the agenda. This resolution here, I brought up resolutions 2 different ways. The first resolution I brought up this way here. And I was told, you don't do it this way. You got to hand it in. I handed it in. 2 weeks later, they bring up a resolution, but they never contacted me. The attorney never did. The mayor never did. The council president never did. And the chair of the committee never did.
But it was on the agenda, and we voted on it and we approved it. So the process is...
It was not my resolution.
The process is that you give it to the committee.
The committee only met 3 times for the year. How do you get a resolution?
The process is that you give it to the committee.
But I would like to read my resolution.
You can read it during your council comments,
I'd like to make a
and then you can
motion.
give it to the committee chair.
Council President, I'd like to make a motion to put this on the agenda.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Let me read it so they know what they're voting on.
Is there a motion on the floor to accept an agenda that none of us have seen?
I will read the agenda I will read the resolution to you.
I'm not voting on anything that hasn't gone through committee.
You don't have to. I'm going to read it anyway. I'm not talking to you.
You're
I'm talking to
politicking.
Council President
I'm
Zapsik.
talking to you. You're politicking.
Bill A. 1738, known as the New Jersey Safe and Responsible Driver Act, proposes to make modifications to the laws of the State Motor Vehicle Commission. And whereas the proposed legislation would allow illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses, and whereas the proposed bill would affect approximately 500,000 individuals within New Jersey, and whereas such a measure can pose a threat to public safety and security and potentially lead to an increase in illegal immigration within the state, as neither New York nor Pennsylvania permit said individuals to obtain driver's licenses, and whereas Governor Phil Murphy is wrong in his assessment that giving driver's license to illegal immigrants was a no-brainer, and whereas the Township Council believes that it is patently unfair that New Jersey residents must provide 6 points of identification to obtain a driver's license, but illegal immigrants would be allowed to obtain one without even being a citizen of the United States. And whereas the Township Council wish to go on record in opposition of Bill A. 1738. Therefore, it be a resolution by the Township Council of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey follows. That the Township Council do strongly urge state legislatures to oppose Bill A. 1738, known as the New Jersey Safe and Responsible Driver Act, which would allow illegal immigrants to obtain driver's licenses. That the Township Council send the certified copy of this resolution to members of the 3rd, 9th, and 10th legislative districts. That is the agenda. The resolution. And I'd like this placed on. I have a motion. And if nobody wants to second my motion, I will send it to you, and hopefully you'll put it back on to next 2 weeks from now agenda.
Council President.
Councilman Mumble.
That would need to go to public safety, correct?
That's correct.
Now, Councilman Fosman, you're in public safety, correct?
As I said, we met 3 times all year. We're not meeting again.
2 weeks ago you met. I'm speaking. 2 weeks ago you met.
I didn't
Now
have-
you're bringing it up at a meeting.
And I didn't have it then.
You're politicking.
I didn't have it then.
The resolution is going to mean nothing. You should have brought it up at the meeting on the 10th.
So
Now it'll have to go
are
to
you
the next
telling me you're
committee
for it or
meeting.
you're against
I'm not voting
it?
on anything or looking at it.
Well, you're telling me
Until I look at it and discuss it.
you don't want it on here, so that means you are
There's a
against it,
motion on the
Councilman
floor.
Mamalo?
There's a motion on the floor to put this on the agenda for tonight. Is there a second? No second, it's referred to the Public Safety Committee. Is there anything else?
Thank you.
Madam President, if I may
Council-
briefly have the
Councilwoman
floor,
Pontoriero.
just to address a minor issue. Public safety meets as a standing committee every other month. We met 2 weeks ago. Councilman Fosman was given an opportunity to place issues on the agenda. I also indicated that for the next meeting, please let me know any additional items to be added to the agenda. So in the normal course of business, our public safety is going to meet every other month, and you'll have an opportunity to present it there. We'll address it in public
Okay,
safety.
Thank you.
Chairman,
Thank you so
I'm
much.
answering Chairman of Public Safety. I get to talk too. Public safety very rarely met. Councilwoman Pontonero was out on medical leave. She was out, and we didn't have any meetings, so we had 3 all year. This just came up to me. I just got it, and I just presented it, and there's a meeting coming up, but I presented this bill now because I did it this way before, it was rejected. I did it their way before by emailing everybody, nobody got back to me. And
never got
then
an
they
email.
brought it up. And now I'm bringing it back up again. So this is what I'm presenting to there.
Madam President,
Yes.
one more time, just for clarification, public safety met prior to when I went out for surgery on June the 24th, 2019, and unfortunately, in July and August, we didn't meet. Again, they resumed the regular every other month schedule after that time. To leave an inference that I was out on leave for some extended period of time is just frankly not true.
But-
One public safety committee meeting had to be rescheduled.
When I presented
That's it.
to Councilwoman right here, my email, she never responded at all or put it on the agenda or even discussed it in an email with anybody, with me at all. None, nobody here discussed it. Councilwoman Zapsik never answered my email. Kevin Starkey never answered. Mayor never answered my email, saying that they're even looking into it or considering it. They just slapped it on there at the last minute and watered it down. That's what they did. So this is the way I have to bring up stuff.
Anyone else from council on the resolutions?
No.
Seeing none, close council, open to public on the resolutions. Yes, Mr. Foster.
Sam Foster, 108 Chico Drive. just have a quick comment about what's going on, what Councilman Fosler just said, and I just want to bring this to the attention of everyone. This, I would appreciate, I've said this in the past, oh shoot, I just deleted what I wrote, oh well.
Mr.
Try to recall from
Forster, I'm
memory.
sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, I'll just, I've never heard anyone say that before to me, but just comment on what Councilman Fosman said. I spoke about this in the past, and he makes a valid point here, and I think that both other council members that spoke, Mamalo and Ponteviero, they both should pay attention to what he said, because what Councilman Fosman said is he did not have what he wanted to bring attention. Now, 2 weeks ago, when the meeting, when that committee last met, he didn't have this. So that's why this is apparently the committee he's on does not meet as often as the other meetings in town.
That's not
Now, if Councilman Pontier, you're shaking your head, no, that's not
No,
correct?
It's simply not true.
Well, you
In
said-
fact, we meet more than most of the other committees. In fact, I think we do meet the most. Every
Well,
other month.
I know when,
We used to meet with Kevin, when
Mr.
we first got
Foster,
elected.
Yeah.
Councilman Fosman, Mr. Foster has the
No,
floor.
I'd like to
He's
hear
just
from
allowing me to
'cause he's,
speak.
you know,
I
yeah,
can
but-
speak
yeah.
to him.
But you know,
What are you talking
This
Councilman-
is
Councilman-
This is
public comment on the
transparency.
resolution.
Councilman Fossil, I do know what you're saying, I agree with you, because when we had previous administrations, we did have meetings.
Meeting
that
every
were-
month.
Yeah, exactly, we also had, in the past, we had, again, Nan Collins commented about this, about the caucus meetings being separate from the council meetings, and we've had this in the past. But again, what's aggravating me tonight is the fact that, once again, you're not being fair to Councilman Fosman. And this is what I said before, and it's happening all over again. Councilman Mamalo has no right to interrupt Councilman Fossil when he's speaking. He's trying to explain something, and again, there's this personal politicking and insults going back, which are inappropriate, because Councilman Fossil is one of the few people up there that does not engage in open politicizing during the meetings, and I'm tired of hearing this coming from Councilman Mamalo. Seriously, enough. You people practically run your campaigns from during council meetings. We've heard it from, in the past, the way it's politicized. You let Mayor Ducey speak when he has no legal right to speak during the council meetings. And again, this is something that other people have commented on as well. About a few council meetings ago, I was here and I saw the council president allowed Mayor Ducey to give a 10-minute speech about the state sanctuary for whatever it was called. I'm trying to call it from memory. My memory isn't that good. But, seriously, enough's enough. I'm just tired of this. Remember, I said this also in the past about Ocean County Freeholders. I attended the Ocean County Freeholder meeting about 2 or 3 years ago. I forgot who the director was, but I do remember that they had a member in the audience who was a Democrat. I think it was Paul Brush. And the director of the Freeholders, I believe it was Mr. Little. I forgot his name, but he made a point of saying we have someone in the audience who's a former freeholder. He was the last Democrat to be elected to the Board of Freeholders, and he said he went out of his way to be polite and respectful to Mr. I think it was Paul Brush, who was the last Democrat that wanted a freeholder meeting. The point I'm trying to make, he was very polite, respectful. He says, no matter our personal differences, no matter the fact that we're members of different parties, we all made sure that when the freeholder meetings occurred and in our business dealings with the public and for the public, we put the public first, and we did not let our personal animosities get involved in how we held freeholder meetings or on freeholder business. And when Mr. Brush, and again, I think it was Paul Brush, who was the last Democrat who elected to the Board of Freeholders, he stood up and he thanked them, and he agreed. That's the way we need our politicians in office here to act. I don't care what your personal animosities are between each other. I don't care if you like each other or not. But when these meetings start and when you do any kind of business regarding the township, you should put the citizens first and stop this bickering and insulting that we hear all the time. This is why you have such a mess in town. This is why things don't get done. And I'm serious about this. This is really a night, and it's laughable for anybody, from Councilman Mamalo, who sits up there in politics, to accuse this of Councilman Fosman. He made a perfectly legitimate point. He should be listened to, and he should be treated with respect. Seriously, take a cue from the Ocean County freeholders. They're classy people, they do their job, and they put the people first, not their politics. And Councilman Dion can smile all she wants to, but they're more respected, and that's why they keep getting reelected year after year, because people respect them and trust them and admire them, and that's something that this council does not have, or this administration does not have, and probably will not have for a long time.
Oh, Ms. Cole. I'm sorry, I could see your hand. I couldn't see who was attached to it.
Yes, I'm getting shorter by the day, as I tell grandchildren all the time, as they get taller than I am. Both of them now. Anyway, let's see. My name is Nan Call. I live at 18 Greenbrier Boulevard in Brick. Not afraid to give my address as well as my name. I think most people know me. Many people in town know me who have never met me in person. This meeting is an absolute disgrace. Oh, wait a minute, didn't I say that? Not last meeting, because this behavior caused me to miss the last meeting. And Paul Brush, apparently, he was in the last century, because I have been in Bricktown, in Ocean County, in New Jersey, for this century, and not before. And I have never seen the likes of what went on here. Councilman Mumolo should be censured. The attorney, you're a disgrace. I'm sorry, but you are a disgrace. Excuse me, it has to do with Mr. Foster and his comments regarding the very appropriate request to have this addressed on this agenda now. You better get somebody who knows parliamentary procedure, who knows civil behavior, which has not been in this year of this council. Councilwoman Zapsik, I have given you great praise, but you were wrong to even comment while all this went on. The chair should be quiet, and I gave you notes that that's by virtue of a professional parliamentarian engaged in the U.S. Congress as a parliamentarian. So I don't want to hear people behind me making comments and think they know what a point of order is. This is totally inappropriate. There is nothing wrong with anyone, including me, submitting something for tonight's agenda in the form of a resolution. And to have nobody second it is a disgrace. It's been done before. Mr. Fosman, whether I agree with him, disagree with him, like him, don't like him, the doctor once told my husband, he is right. He has it. Now let's see. The resolutions. 4.1, Mariana Pontararo. 4.2, Lisa Crate. 4.3, Lisa Crate. 4.4, Paul Mumolo. And the one I really wanted to talk about until this upheaval is the taxi, Heather DeYoung. And where did you give Councilman Fosman a resolution to speak on? Is he not a duly elected councilman? Regardless of the party. In the Mr. Politics, it was you playing politics with your comment at a turn, accusing Mr. Fosman of it being a political. It's political, and it's happened every meeting that I can remember, at least since he changed his party affiliation. I am affiliated with the party for one reason. I want to work the elections. And I have to belong to one or the other, I'll tell you. After what I've witnessed this year, not to mention other years, I will never affiliate with the Democratic Party. I came from Brooklyn. I used to have Chuck Schumer come to meetings, not my meetings, I didn't hold it, I attended it. I had Anthony Weiner when Chucky Boy became a federal...
Point of order, what has this got to do?
Excuse me,
This is nothing to do with the agenda.
Ms. Call has the
does.
floor for another
has to
33
do with
seconds.
Mr. Fosman's attempt, and that timer is inappropriate for comments on this. That shouldn't even be in effect for residential comments on any matter. This is a government entity that's affecting all of our lives. We have a right to fully debate and discuss with the council and demand answers from the attorney. I would like at the next meeting that he should have a printout to provide telling us where he thinks that Mr. Fosman doesn't have the right to do this. So this is about the agenda and the refusal to allow Mr. Fosman for the second time to put something on it. Now, that said, and there'll be more, you can find me on Facebook very easily. I now want to speak about the taxi cabs and point out for how many times? The 100th? 1000th time? This agenda, like all of them, since they no longer had a separate caucus agenda, says caucus/public. Where's the caucus? Do you know what a caucus meeting is? And it shouldn't be a Democratic caucus and a Republican caucus. It should be one for all of us. There are more unaffiliated voters in this town than there are affiliated with either or both parties. So, the taxi cab. I'd like at the next meeting for the township attorney to please provide information on why the township gets to do this. Do we have 526 different ways of operating as far as taxi cab licenses? I mentioned long before any of you ever showed up at a meeting, when I had to take a taxi cab from my home to go to the surgical center on Route 70 because my husband had passed away. And there was a big nonsense going on then about taxi cabs. The price is inordinate. It shouldn't be because that's in Lakewood and I live in Brick that the price has to be so much higher. It shouldn't be the township controlling it. Not even the county. We should have a state, and we should definitely have a lot of these different groups united under county. Police department, this, recreation, a whole bunch. We have no public service transportation here. The shuttle bus, I never knew about it till it was a done deal. How come I didn't hear it when I'm attending the meetings all the time, except for two? And I will address why I was not at the last meeting. I'm very sorry to say this is an absolute disgrace, and no one here, again for about the 100th time, the only one here who may be representing me is Jim Fosman.
Anyone else from public on the resolutions? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Council. My name is Olivia Cowdrick. I live at 496 Silverton Road. I'm a local student. I go to college at Rutgers. I'm studying political science and gender studies. My question for you is, in light of various incidents in other areas, do you require the taxi companies perform background checks on their employees to do business here in Brick? Especially as a college student, this is a big concern, reading recent events with the molestation of a young student in Philly. Thank you.
I think our clerk can answer that because you handle the taxi cab permits?
Yes, we do require background checks. Our taxi drivers are fingerprinted, they are drug screened, and they do receive a physical from their doctor each year before the license can be issued.
Thank you very much, Council, and good evening.
Thank you.
Good question.
Anyone else from public on the resolutions? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Mamalo.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Item 7, bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $2,230,438.80.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Mumolo, seconded by Councilman Fosman. Open to council for questions on the bills.
Council President, I have questions.
Yes, Councilman Fosman.
On page 8, we have on there, Bright View Engineering did a noise study in Evergreen Woods. Do we have a report on that?
No, we do not.
And
It's
when do
not
we-
complete yet.
And when, because this bill is $10,450, when will it be complete?
The total purchase order was for $52,000, so $10,000 is a portion of that. The proposal included field investigation, data gathering, conducting required data collection, reviewing existing conditions, prepare the report, meet with residents. So some of that work has been done, and that's reflective of the $10,000 bill.
Did they give you a schedule of when they were actually going to test the noise and what time of day? And
They've had the equipment out there, they've gathered the data with the equipment, they haven't compiled that into a report yet. They're still working on that. And he did indicate at the time that he did the site investigation with the residents that it would be some time before that report was complete.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Page 12, I have. It's CME Engineering. It's quite a bill this time for them. It just, I see it out there. It's $86,744 for CME. I said they did a lot of work here. Bowling field, drainage, Chapel Hill, isolated, quite a bit of work. I can't tell if these are completed projects or they're just partial.
Well, they start on page 10.
Yes, I see
And go
that.
through to page 12, so each project is slightly different
Yes.
in terms of
Yeah, it'd
its...
be kind of hard. I have to stop in then and, we'll-
I could give you the status on each one without a problem, Councilman Fosman, if you'd like, at your convenience.
let's see how much more has to be paid out. Okay, page 20. I have here, we're sign material. Are we still doing signs in-house? We're just buying the backing of the signs and we're still making the signs in-house?
That is correct, to the maximum extent possible, yes.
Are any signs sent out that we
None
can't
that
do?
I can recall off the top of my head. For the most part, they have the equipment to handle all different types and sizes of signs.
Okay. Page 35. Mr. Starkey. 15,000, you know, Kevin, if I may call you Kevin.
It's my name. Yep.
I sent you an email about 2 months ago, and you never answered me, and that was for some of the lawsuits that we have in town, and you never responded to,
I apologize. I'm
not
pretty good about
even-
responding.
Not even for how many lawsuits we have. If you didn't even go into detail, send me something.
I'm working on that, and I have been working on it since you sent the email. A lot of them don't go through Mr. Starkey, a lot of them go through the Ocean County JIF, our insurance company, so Mr.
How
Starkey
many
isn't-
lawsuits do we have?
Mr. Starkey isn't the resource to answer that. I've had to use other resources. I have been working very diligently on that, and I will be able to respond, but it is something I have been working on. It's
And-
quite a bit of time.
Yeah, Councilman Fosden, just to follow up on that, most of our lawsuits do get sent to the Ocean County Joint Insurance Fund, our insurance carrier, to be assigned to counsel, paid for by the insurance company. So I don't I don't offhand know how many, but we're in the process of getting that information.
All right, and just while we're on that subject, I see the building for sale, that the medical marijuana building filed a lawsuit against us. Has that lawsuit been dropped?
No, that lawsuit is still pending.
Could you send me a copy of that lawsuit?
Of the complaint?
Of the complaint, what they alleged?
Sure. I'll send it to you tomorrow.
I emailed that to me, thank you. Page 37. It says here, Brick Township, it says beach badge donations. Is that for the vets that we give do we calculate for this? It says beach badge donations.
Councilwoman DeYoung might be better to answer this because this comes from tourism, and she's the chair.
That is run through the Tourism Development Commission, and what we do is we get a lot of donation requests, the different raffles and different gift auctions that they do. Also, our volunteer fire get free beach badges. So that is what that money is for, towards our beach badges. It's about 75 badges.
Do you know how many township people buy badges? We wouldn't know that offhand, would we?
Township residents?
Residents,
or
yeah.
township employees?
Residents?
You can't decipher that in between, okay.
We don't separate the fee for
We're not allowed.
residents, so we don't chart it that way when they purchase their badge. We don't
Okay,
track it.
thank you.
We sold 7,187 season badges this year.
Was that daily, or you said season?
Season.
Now, I mean, that's...
7,187 season badges, 2,723 season parking passes, 18,542 daily badges, 11,358 daily parking, and there was 1,365 senior parking.
It sounds like you did pretty good on that there, and also, you have them food concession stands there, you have 2 of them there. Too bad we couldn't give our residents free badges and just make them pay for the parking.
I don't believe
Thank you.
we're allowed, sir. Mayor?
That's not permitted by state law.
I just said too bad. I said too bad that we couldn't
You
do
can't
that.
give preference to residents over non-residents.
State law says we cannot.
Thank you.
Anyone
Madam
else?
President, just as a follow-up
Yes.
to one of Councilman Fosman's issues, Ms. Birkin, you indicated that the bill that Mr. Fosman pointed out for a partial payment for the sound study for Evergreen Woods, can you give us an approximate idea of how much this sound study is going to cost?
She said it, 52.
The total amount of the proposal to the engineer, the traffic engineer, was 56,000, did I say? Let me check.
You said 52.
52, okay. And that encompasses all of the items that I outlined when I answered the question. So it covers the meeting that he had with residents. He also did a site visit. It includes the field investigation, gathering the data, conducting required data collection, and reviewing existing conditions and preparing the report. So there are several aspects that are covered under the $52,250 bill.
Are they billing us, is it like just as they expend the money, or?
Right, so the amount is not to exceed, so when they perform one of the functions that was outlined in their proposal, they would send us a bill for that and indicate that on the bill.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I got one more thing. Remember, we were talking about the Christmas tree 2 weeks ago, right? Just as a follow-up, Mayor, you said that local businesses paid for the trees. What local businesses were they? Because that's what the article said.
Yeah, it's businesses. I don't know why the word local was in there. But it's, yeah, businesses. It was mostly our professionals, so they bill us a lot for the work they do for the town. So my idea was like, hey, give something back. Let's get a tree. Let's get something nice that we can all be proud of. And we got a bunch of them on board to be able to pay for the tree. It's going to look great this year. Over the 6 years that I've been mayor, we've really tried to do a lot with that tree. We originally, it was the way it was. Then we did a bunch of landscaping to it. We bought special lights one year. and the thing it just can't hold it up. It just can't, it's not something that, during the holiday season, that November, December, and the November, December area, that's a focal point of our town. So you really want something that you want to be proud of, and we're going to have that this year, luckily. So with the thanks of all those, they do a lot for our town, and, they also make a lot of money, so I thought it would be great to ask them to give back to our town, and we had a bunch of them agree to it, and we have it all paid for, totally by companies.
Yeah, I have no problem. I'm just saying what the article said. The article said that local businesses had come to rescue and would be funding the $5,000 to replace the tree. That's why I brought up it's not local businesses. What are the businesses then?
Yeah, the press release didn't say local, but it's, Starkey firm.
Yeah, my firm is one of them.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Happy to contribute. I mean,
I understand.
I think it's great that Brick hasn't.
I'm just pointing out what the article said, and I'm trying to clarify it here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it wasn't on the press release as local, so it said businesses.
Local.
They're all vendors of the town. It was, CME was one. We can get you the list. I think it's in the press release. It should be in there.
ARH?
Yeah.
was one.
Kevin's?
The Wiener Law Firm.
Yeah, we did, I know all these companies
Raynon
make a
and,
lot of money from the town. I believe it was over, it come to, if I remember calculating, it was $2.4 million. So, it's nice getting something back,
Yeah, it's
Okay,
great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else from council on the bill resolution? Seeing none, close council, open to public on the bill resolution. Mr. Foster.
Sam Foster, 108 Teakwood. Caught me right in the middle of my comment, right in here. Comment on the tree. That's what I was in the middle of writing here. Mayor Ducey made a comment about the tree being replaced and saying about how it's used for 2 months to hang decorations. It's an important part of the township festivities, holiday festivities. We don't really, I've been all over the state, and there are a lot of towns in New Jersey that do not need, you can make anything a center point of holiday celebration or whatever. I know that there's a lot of lawsuits filed by some people because separation of church and state, so sometimes towns have to stop their Christmas displays or whatever. Me, I don't really care. Myself, I don't really care. If it deals with religion, doesn't matter to me. But to me, that's not a justification to spend taxpayer money cutting down a tree, because I just dropped it in here and I looked at it. It doesn't look that bad, and it's again, you should be prioritizing on spending our money more appropriately. We don't need a tree to celebrate holidays, and it's a big thing with me is that there's been this commercialization of Christmas and all the religious holidays, Easter as well. We should keep in mind what it is that we're celebrating, and it's the commemoration of the birth of Jesus, even if he wasn't born in December or whatever. But that's what we should be focusing on, and not trying to turn it into something that is an event where the politicians can gather around and work the crowds and trying to get votes. And I've been out there, and that's pretty much what I've seen happen the last for a long time. It's just used for political purposes, but to me, that's not a justification. It's just not just for that kind of expenditure of money. You could have anything out there. You could put up a plaque, or we have a nativity scene. I don't remember who was there last year, but now we did have a nativity scene. Anything can be the focus of celebrating the holiday season, and we should keep that in mind. And it's just, to me, it's just a waste of money, and I would hope that you use more common sense regarding how you spend our money. Now, that's one point. The other point I want to make a comment was Councilman Fosman made a comment about giving citizens free passes, and several people said, well, it's illegal. Well, I'll put this politely, but it's not just a rhetorical question, but I'll put it that way. When has something been illegal? When has something being illegal stopped people in this administration in the past? Seriously. We see it during council meetings. We see it with the, seriously, I'm very serious about this. Last year I was assaulted by a brick cop. He wasn't arrested. There's a police officer in the room. When has something being illegal ever stopped anybody in this administration in the past? We see it during the council meetings when we have people interrupting Councilman Fosman illegally. I saw it earlier this year when Councilman DeYoung threw a photo at Councilman Fosman, and the video feed to the council meeting conveniently cut out. Seriously, it's, to say something like that, it's an insult to people's intelligence, and I'm serious. When has something being illegal ever stopped this administration, anybody in this administration in the past, from misbehaving or violating the law? That's all I have to say. One other thing is that someone left their jacket here. I don't know. Oh, it is? Okay. I'm sorry. I thought it was someone else's. Thank you.
Anyone else from public? This is the bills. This is on the bills. You have a question on the bills, Ms. Jones?
I just wanted to comment about the Christmas tree.
Can we do that during public comment? Yes. Thank you so much. Anyone else on the bills? Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
I'd like to thank Kevin Starkey for contributing to the Christmas tree. I think that was very nice of you and all the engineers contributing. It's nice. And yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Momolo.
Abstain Meridian Occupational Health, yes to the rest.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes. Alrighty. Item number 8, manual bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid, and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $1,751,103.30.
Thank you. May I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Momolo, second by Councilwoman Pontoriero. Open to council for questions on the manual bill resolution.
Yes, I have a question. We have a rider escrow for CME Associates. They have an office downstairs, and that rider is only paid hourly, right, for that engineer?
Pardon? Yeah. Let me see here.
As needed basis?
Yeah, so that's rider escrow specific to working not for the office hours that they perform, that's on your regular bill resolution. The rider escrow is for Board of Adjustment or Planning Board. Wiener Law Group is Board of Adjustment, CME Associates is Planning Board.
Thank you.
Anyone else from council on the manual bill resolution? Seeing none, close council. Open to public on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Fosman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain CME, yes to the rest.
Councilman Momolo.
Yes.
Vice President Crate.
Yes.
President Zapsik.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we are at public comment.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
Hello, I'm Roxanne Jones. I live in the Laurelton section on Princeton Avenue. First, I'd like to say is that I'm glad we're getting a new Christmas tree, and whenever I pass it, when my comings and goings in Brick, I feel very happy that the holiday is being acknowledged by our government, and I'm also happy to see the menorah there as well. Let everybody worship God according to the Constitution as he or she wishes. As a Christian, I have no right to force myself, or my beliefs, I should say, on anyone, even if as I witness. But I'm very glad we have our Christmas tree. And second, I'm also glad to hear that Brick does do a thorough investigation of its taxi drivers. I'm very shocked when I find out that other municipalities, I'm talking big cities, don't do the same. But that definitely makes me feel a lot safer as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Briggs.
I'm going to talk about something about the tree. At the last meeting, it was voted on to take the money out of the budget and pay for the tree. And then a very intelligent resident said, we used to fundraise here. And the next day, 5 corporations, companies, whatever you want to call them, donated the money as an after effect. I think that person should have been thanked. I think that the comments about how the meetings are run, I don't even want to agree with somebody, but they're getting ridiculous. If you're having an agenda question, it should be on what the question is on the agenda. Not what happened in New York, what happened in Timbuktu, what happened in any place. And for you to allow it is criminal, because we have to sit here and listen to this. Now, I was the one that made the comment about getting fundraising. I saved this town $5,000. I don't care whether a tree went up or a tree didn't go up. There are things that can be done by fundraising in this town. That's how we did everything before. Everybody just put their hand out and got money left and right. Maybe we should look back at the past and start doing that again. And if that clock ever comes down, I will get a lawyer and sue this town for taking the 5-minute clock, because nobody has the guts to say to somebody, shut up, your 5 minutes is up. That's why the clock was brought here. Thank you.
Ms. Call.
Yes, it's Nan Colley, Teen Greenbrier Boulevard. Before I address any of the things that I came that are quite serious, I'd like to ask, is not Miss or Mrs. Briggs, whatever her name is, a township employee? Is she not the same person that was hired by the former mayor, Stephen Acropolis,
Ms. Call.
supposedly to work
Call.
1 day a week?
Ms. Call, that microphone, I'm sorry.
I don't care. Bring it on.
Address your comments to the
The
chair.
township
please. Address your
attorney
comments to
loves
the chair.
having lawsuits, and it will go to the township, because you have allowed her to make certain comments. That clock was her bright idea to bring over from the BTMUA, where they were using it. I don't know if it's the same one or they went and bought one. And while I'm on it, the BTMUA, it says Brick Township Municipal Authority, and yet every time I try to find out who's in charge of it, who rules over it, I'm told it's not part of the township. Well, I'd like somebody to have a class on what is and what isn't under the domain of the mayor, the township, and many things that the council decides is their authority, and I don't believe it is, and I'd like to see chapter and verse of what statute gives it to you. Now I'll address why I wasn't here 2 weeks ago. It was the second time that I had what I term an event within a month. The first time, I wound up going and spending overnight in the emergency room, and then being transferred to a medical floor and spent overnight there, and had neurological tests. They are not definitive enough to know why I had what I will call an ocular situation. But it is possible that it has something to do with the heart. So now, I'm going under, I had to go under many, many cardiology tests. I met the cardiologist on August 30th. And when I finished, and I had to wait a very long time, partially, I think, because there was a power outage in our area involving where the cardiology office is at Jack Martin and Birdsville, and decided I would go up and shop in Howell, where it's much more pleasant than here in brick strip malls. And how do you get from Brick to Howell? You go through Lakewood. Do you know what it's like to ride? I've complained about the traffic here in Brick. It's worse, if anything, in Lakewood. It's as bad and worse in Toms River. Did you see how many crashes happened in 1 week on the patch? That's the only one I read. And as I'm heading, I pulled up on Lexington to make a left turn onto Kennedy from County Line, and I stopped at the stop sign, and the traffic is coming in both directions. So I inched up past the stop sign line, and when I saw a line of them, far enough away that I had plenty of room to head out into that lane of traffic, I did, because nobody except Man Carl gives you a break. I gave it to people when I was coming here tonight. And I watched, and the westbound traffic was another problem, so I waited until that was a far enough distance and started to execute a left turn. All of a sudden, I hear metal crunching. And I said, what the heck? And I saw what could have been an ocular event. An SUV whizzed past me. He sheared off my front license plate, or tag as you call it. I stopped. I didn't even really have my foot, I think, off the brake. But I put the brake on, and I wasn't going more than 5 miles an hour, so no airbags deployed, and stopped where I was. There was not another car in sight going in either direction. I pulled over to the other side of Kennedy Boulevard, since that's the way my wheels were, and pulled alongside the curb, took out my cell phone, even though I can do it by the dashboard or the steering wheel, and called 911. Well, because we have this wonderful system, it's answered down in Toms River. And I hope they still have the recording. And I was giving my name and spelling it, and said I have just been involved in a 2-vehicle crash. However, the other car was nowhere in sight. She gets someone from the Lakewood Police Department on the phone, and I hope that recording is also still being held. And I repeat the information and where I am. All of a sudden, a man appears next to my driver's window saying that he beeped. Well, I suggest a few people get the driving manual, because I looked it up to make sure I'm correct. And I asked the very nice young policeman named Rivera, I said, what would happen if I was standing there crossing? He would have just hit me, because the damage to my vehicle was substantial. If his vehicle is the one that he pulled into the lot that I was parked next to, where, ironically, the Lakewood policeman pulled in, his damage was just as if a heavy-set man rammed his back end against the passenger door and caved it in. There was nothing. Where's the scrape mark with paint on it from my vehicle? Because he sheared the license plate off and had it all crumbled up. When he appeared, there was still no cars in either direction. No witnesses came forward. Nobody knows exactly how he passed me. Did he straddle the line that divides east and west traffic? Did he even, in fact, go into the traffic that was coming from the east going west? So I could not come, because I was watching news and watching the video from other things, and so angry and upset at how these meetings and the lack. We have 13 people here, maybe. There was 13 after everybody else left. Oh, speaking of which, does any other student get a chance to do a presentation besides Lisa Craig's daughter, Colleen, and her friend? Those do not belong at our meeting. This is a government meeting. The 13 belongs here. They're part of our government. But the schools, the wrestling, the sports, they don't belong here. If anything, in the school, or better yet, how about, Mayor, you have a town hall meeting every other Tuesday since we don't have any caucus meetings officially. And as far as the tree, yeah, I read about it. $5,000? Oh, and I don't think that it's any benefit that somebody suggested. Actually, it reminds me of good old Joe Scarpelli saying, "Went to business in brick, you pay me." And that's a fact. He pleaded guilty not to accepting bribe, but to extorting bribes. And that's what was done for many years, apparently, around here. So I think that you really need to get your act straight. Oh, and the resolution that you didn't want, Mr. Fosman, oh, but you were very quick to jump on his suggestion previously about a resolution opposing sanctuary city for us, or state for us, and that could have been handled. Do you know that the legislative session in the state of New Jersey ends January 14th? So at this point, anybody brings up a resolution, an ordinance, a statute to the New Jersey legislature, it'll never happen. And also, you didn't need to have an engineering firm do a study. Stephen Brill and Michelle Spector have stood here and talked about the studies that have been done over and over and over. Can I expect that at the next meeting, maybe you'll hire an engineering company to invent something called the wheel and make it out of wood?
Council President, can I comment, please?
Yes, yes, Vice President Crate.
I think it's interesting that we brought up the idea of fundraising this evening and that how important it is as playing a part in our town. And I just want to also point out that Colleen Crate and Maya Jackson have worked tirelessly over 2 different years to help raise money to alleviate the cost of what it takes to take care of our K-9 unit in this town. So I'm honored and pleased and delighted that they were here tonight to present a check to our K-9 department that did not cost this town a cent. It only saved them money. And thank you to all of the businesses that were local to this town that donated to that. We should be so lucky to have that many kids in this town working to do that.
Mr. Foster?
Sam Foster, 108 Teakwood Drive in Brick. Just want to, I was in the middle of writing again, but since I went, Councilman Crate and brought this up, I just wanted to say it's nice to have anybody engaged in fundraising for the K-9 units, but I'll put this delicately. I'm capable of being very delicate. It's an election year in, I'd say about 2 months, and it just seems, I'd just like to know, since Councilman Crate is up for re-election, just the timing. See, timing is, it's one of those things that reveal a lot more. In the past, why wasn't there any fundraising? I just think it's straight to timing.
This was their second year.
Well, I'm not all at once. I know that you want to interrupt because you don't like being criticized, and it's an election year, and you don't want to lose control of the council because then you can't spend our money on your friends and everybody. But, but go ahead. This was directed at Councilman Crate, not you, so just keep quiet.
This was...
When you say falsehoods, I will respond.
What did you say?
When you say falsehoods,
What did I say that was false? What did I... No,
This is their second year.
Mr. Foster has the floor.
What did I say was false?
Procedure, Mr. Foster, is to direct questions through the chair.
I just did. Well, don't. Shut up. On? Enough. Thank you. Now, as I was saying, I was speaking to Councilman Crate. What did I say that was false?
This was not their first year that they did this fundraising effort. This was actually the second year. So in 2 years, they've raised a little over $5,000.
Okay, I stand corrected then. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. I apologize. I did not, but the meetings tend to blur together over the years, but that's one thing. I just wanted to make a comment about several of them, actually. And first of all, I wish I hadn't gone to the men's room, because when I walked into the room, I heard rather interesting tirade. But anyway, I said this in the past, I'm going to say this again. Well, we all know there's the little, I don't know what you call it, a dispute between Nan Call and Ms. Briggs, but I said this in the past. I've been going to council meetings for over 10 years now, and when she stood up here during council meetings for over 5 years complaining about a pond in her neighborhood or near her residence, whatever, that she claims was overgrown with weeds. Nobody treated her the way that she's been treating Nan Call. And it's been going on for months. And Nan Call is sick, and she doesn't need it, and I don't think anybody here would like it if Nan Call had a heart attack or a stroke or something like that. Nobody needs to be aggravated like that, and nobody needs to be disrespected. We saw just what she just pulled with now. She's sitting there, Ms. Briggs, mouthing off at me when I'm speaking. Nobody did that to her. And if she can't behave like that, she's always talking about throwing someone out of the room. She should be thrown out of the room. Try showing some respect for people, which she can't do. And she's the same way as a township employee, because when I came downstairs to the business department and tried to get a permit, or inquire about a permit, she wrote down information about me, took my the form that she put on the very bottom of the pile that she had, and told me to take a seat. I waited 45 minutes before finally someone saw me there, said, "Are you being helped?" I said I was, and they found my issue that she deliberately put at the bottom of the page just out of spite, because that's exactly what she's like, a spiteful, malicious person. Now, I'm tired of this nonsense. This is exactly what I also said about in the past about you people sit up there and you set an example for how people in this room are going to act. And we see what happens when you have people that will, for any excuse whatsoever, they will engage in this type of conduct, and it's uncalled for. I'm tired of it. Seriously, I drove past that pond. She spoke about it, Melanie Briggs spoke about it on a Tuesday. Next day, Wednesday, I drove past it, just see what it was like. And it wasn't anything at all like she said. There are people fishing, there are people on a boat, no problem. But again, I don't begrudge her standing up at the microphone and complaining and talking about it. She has that right. But Nan Call has the right to speak without being interrupted, and so do I. You saw what she just said. You all heard what Ms. Briggs just said. She said no. I said, don't mouth up. She says, no. What do you mean no? It's illegal. What she did is illegal. And she has no respect for other people, and she's the same way on the job here in this building. Now, that was it. And one more thing about what Ms. Briggs said about she's going to file a lawsuit if the clock is removed. What a joke that is. That's an absolute joke. I mean, as I said this in the past, I'm going to make this quick, my time expired, but it is absolutely laughable that people do not understand basic laws. If you're going to have a clock up there, then that means that people are going to be allowed to speak for 5 minutes, and that's it. You don't interrupt them. You don't, like we've had in the past, although this year it has not happened with you, Councilwoman Zapsik. You have cracked down on it. But seriously, that 5 minutes means if we speak for 5 minutes, you don't interrupt us, you don't shout us down, and you don't heckle us or whatever. This is what happened last year. This is what happened last year when Councilwoman DeYoung was in charge of the meeting, and a former brick cop sat there with his family and friends and were heckling people over and over again, and it escalated until I was attacked as I was leaving the council meeting, and Councilwoman DeYoung did nothing about it. If anything, she incited it. And she's nothing but and I'm tired of the troublemaking going on here, too. Like Councilwoman DeYoung just saying she's going to interrupt me when I speak a falsehood. What did I say was false? I'm tired of this nonsense. You have to get rid of control of these meetings. Because if there is a lawsuit that's going to be filed, it's going to be by me for civil rights violations, and I'll hold every one of you in the courtroom, including her. the township employee. And I mean it too. What she just did with me, and what Melanie Briggs did with Nan Call, that's the type of person she is. And if she's going to act like that, then toss her out of here or prevent her from coming in here to meetings if she's going to be disruptive.
Ms. Jones?
Hello again, I'm Roxanne Jones from Laurelton on West Princeton Avenue. Now, I, for one, am glad when we see things like the K-9 unit and receiving checks and recognizing school athletes with the mayor and, of course, with the police chief here, the Boy Scouts, and when the occasion occurs, the Girl Scouts, various Honor Society members. I think that's appropriate for a town meeting, because who are these people from? The town. What are the meetings for? The people. Since they've been having town meetings in colonial America, that kind of thing was always, or at least as far as I know, allowed, because it talks about us, and it's about us, right? The members of the town. So I, for one, say, let's keep those events here at our town meetings. There's room for that, as well as with matters of civic urgency. Thank you.
Ms. Briggs?
Town has made these stickers, Township of Brick, single stream recycling. And they're throughout the building on many desks that people can get. The one problem is it doesn't say where to put it. So I would suggest either get a stamp made, put this someplace, because people have asked, does it go on my recycling can in my house? Does it go on my inside, outside, front, back? It's a great idea. It tells you what goes in and what can't, but it doesn't tell you what to do with this.
I can answer that question for you. So those were, we had those through our recycling grant that we received those, and we actually have a DPW meeting coming up in the first week of October, and we're going to work on in that meeting how we're going to distribute those to the public, and they are to be placed on your outdoor recycling can as a reminder of what should and should not go in that can.
Where?
Wherever you want. We're not placing them for you. It's for your use and for you to remember. So if you like it better on the top, you can put it on the top. If you see it on the side, you can put it on the side. It's for you to place in a place that you'll remember what needs to go in that large can outside. So, and our goal is to get them distributed to the community. We're working on how we'd like to do that at our next meeting. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, maybe you can hand that out with the tax bill.
Ms.
Put it in the
Call?
same envelope.
Oh.
Doesn't fit in the envelope. It's too big.
This is in reference to recycling. I don't see my friend Vinny, but I gave him something to hold because it wouldn't have been allowed, I wouldn't have been allowed in with it. I buy the gas-powered lighters for $1. They say on it they're refillable. Who refills them? Nobody. What do we do with it when it's totally empty? There's a metal part, there's a plastic part, and how much are they building up in our landfills? Because when you run out of it, what do? One of the people that was there present when I talked to Vinny about holding it for me said, I throw them in the garbage. Now, does the metal belong in the garbage? Does the plastic belong in the garbage? And does that item belong in the garbage, or do we need to stop buying things made in China, in Walmart, in the dollar stores, in every store, and clothing made in other countries, and people worry about a tariff? And what are we doing to our country? We're filling the landfill with these kind of products. I think we need to start advocating, start acting. And by the way, many years ago, generally it was at a school board meeting, I said, Why aren't we doing fundraising instead of taxing the people for every little thing? This was not a new idea.
Mr. Sluka?
Okay, John Sluka, 950 Sylvia Court. I'm reading my letter, even to the two people who aren't here, somehow. Okay, dear Mayor Ducey, September 17th, and the council president, Andrea Zapsik, and the rest of the council. What is needed in Evergreen Woods and many places in Brick Township is increased forestation, as well as a 14-foot pollution, safety, and noise wall to curtail some of the damage brought about by the illegal actions of the commissioners of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. It has been over 7 years since the New Jersey Turnpike Authority began the destruction of the environment to add to the existing ramp and roadway of the Garden State Parkway. Yes, it's been going on for 7 years, 85 months, over 2,500 days, 62,000 hours. What has the New Jersey Turnpike Authority Commissioners done to correct the environmental problems they caused? They lied about the expansion, they ignored their own rules, they tried to ignore the citizens and the administration, and finally added a small group of trees to appease people. Brick Township's administration did attend a few meetings and write a couple of letters which may have pushed the commissioners into planting those trees. But if the commissioners truly believed they did nothing wrong, they would have done nothing. But instead, they hoped that token action would help, and if the commissioners were actually correct, they would have done the right thing years ago. We know the New Jersey Turnpike Authority commissioners have harmed the health of lives of many of the Brick residents over those 62,000 plus hours. We know the administration has written a few letters, attended a couple of meetings, and just recently ordered a sound study for Evergreen Woods. The problem, however, is not only the increased sound, but the increased toxins flowing into the lungs of tens of thousands of Brick and Ocean County residents. With this in mind, let me bring to the forefront what some council members have done over the past 2,500 plus days. Councilman Tote once said, entering, exiting ramps would add value to the community because everyone would benefit from being close to a major highway. He was voted out of office and never heard from again. Councilman Brando said New Jersey Turnpike Authority would of course do the right thing for the citizens when the whole project was done. And if they didn't do it, he'd come to the meetings and stand with the citizens who have been complaining for 5 years. Maybe we saw him once since he was voted out of office. Councilman Moore stated he would talk to the county government to see what could be done, but became an independent, and now he is also long gone. With the past council members, it looks like the bureaucrats and powerful lobbyists defeated them. What has occurred with our current local representatives? What have they done? The Assembly and Senate pretty much ignored the problem since they were complicit in the planning of this project. I have mentioned the administration previously, so I'll just concentrate on our elected representatives. From our left to right, Councilman Fosman has written it to the State House in support of the suffering people a few times, and even has mentioned it at some of the meetings. Councilwoman Pontorero seems to have listened as we spoke of the toxins causing asthma to our children and that are attending Brick High and Lanesville, but seems like to never say a word in her comments. Councilman DeYoung almost looks disinterested when any of the citizens speak, and doesn't participate when we talk about the small particles of the air that might be linked to autism and those low birth rate babies. Councilwoman Zatzik, very helpful with the BMAC, never says a word about the pollution that may be impacting our senior citizens, causing COPD. Councilwoman Crate attends many Board of Ed meetings, so seems interested in teaching of students, but never speaks a word about the lack of sleep caused by the noise to the local children that live near the Garden State Parkway. Councilman Halloran, who's not here tonight unfortunately, but he got this letter, seems highly concerned about the seniors living on Barrier Island, but never uttered a word about the poisons in the air causing premature deaths of the less affluent seniors living within a mile of the Garden State Parkway. Councilman Mumolo, for some reason, seems to find opportunities to denigrate the citizens who call the attention to the problem with the Garden State Parkway and defends at least twice, I think 3 times, the commissioners of the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. Once again, more than 7 years of air pollution, noise, and toxins involuntarily forced upon the residents of Evergreen Woods, Briar Mill, Greenbrier, Birchwood, and other areas. 7 years of toxins into Brick High and Lanes Mill School. 7 years of poisons flowing to Town Hall and the library. And what have our local officials done? Thanks for listening. I yield back 2 seconds.
Madam President, may I have the floor?
Yes, Councilman Mamala.
Just to reiterate on Mr. Sluka's letter, the mayor and administration sent 12 letters, scheduled and attended 11 meetings. That's more than a couple. And I'm going to ask Council Vice President Crate and Councilwoman DeYoung to help me with all this stuff. In 2014, we authorized legal research on Federal Highway Administration noise regulations to determine if there was a strategic legal basis for litigation. January 2014, requested Assemblyman Wisniewski as chair of the Senate's Transportation Independent Authority Commission support our efforts to engage the NJTPA on remediation, which was done. Conducted lengthy legal research with the NJDEP regarding the no net loss program to determine of the township's grant funds which would be used to implement a landscape project as a buffer to the community. The NJDEP determined that the township could only proceed if the Evergreen Wood Association provided the township with a conservation easement. The association would not agree to this easement, and the township lobbied to the state to instead allow access to the agreement. That requested was denied. Ultimately, the state attorney general rules that trees provided through the no net loss grant would not be planted on private property. April 2014, mayor and staff met with residents of Evergreen Woods. May 2014, wrote to NJTA requesting mitigation measures. In June 2014, received a response that indicated the median would be replanted upon the completion of the project as outlined in the original plans. It would evaluate the right-of-way by Evergreen Woods to determine if additional trees can be planted. June 2014, arranged and the township staff attended a meeting at the NJTPA Evergreen Woods Association, members in the NJTA's executive office in Woodbridge. And I have another page here. July 2014, the council passed a resolution echoing the sentiments of the June 2014 letter demanding that the NJTPA identify an appropriate mitigation strategy to alleviate the new landscape created by the shoulder widening and basin installation. July 24th, 2014, Mayor contacted local assembly representatives to request their assistance lobbying the NJTPA for assistance. September of 2014, Mayor sent a letter direct to the NJTPA commissioners asking for their assistance. September 14th, 2014, Mayor appeared on WOBM radio and made a formal request that the outlet be called to call on the NJTPA to assist with the residents of Evergreen Woods to identify possible mitigation strategies. October 2014, Mayor sent another letter to NJTPA with data from the Ocean County Health Department indicating that noise level exceeded the threshold for noise wall eligibility, asking them to review the data and revisit the request for mitigation. January 2015, Mayor contacted the 10th District Legislative Office and asked for their help contacting NJDOT Commissioner regarding the need for a sound barrier and other types of mitigation. Assemblyman Wolf agreed to assist and contacted the Commissioner's office. Vice President Crate, would you help me? Thank you.
In March 2015, Township Business Administrator went to the New Jersey Turnpike Authority public meeting and spoke on behalf of the township requesting mitigation for the residents of Evergreen Woods. April 2015, Mayor, Councilman Mumolo, and staff met with Evergreen Woods Association attorney and association members, New Jersey Turnpike Authority representatives, including the executive director, to discuss plans for reforesting. The NJTPA restated its position on the criteria for a noise wall and how this project did not meet that criteria. The NJTPA then went on to outline a landscape enhancement plan. August 2015, the township agreed to facilitate and host a meeting between Evergreen Woods Association and the NJTPA, specifically about the landscape enhancement plan. February 2016,
Township staff attended a meeting with residents of Evergreen Woods and the Ocean County Engineering Office to try and lobby for assistance with the NJTPA. As a result of that meeting, in March 2016, County Engineer drafted a letter to the New Jersey Turnpike Authority requesting that they reevaluate the noise issue. April 2016, the mayor drafted a letter to the Turnpike Authority requesting immediate action on a landscaping and/or any other possible mitigation strategy.
April 2016, at the request of residents in Evergreen Woods, Mayor Ducey sent a letter to Ocean County Engineer asking for copies of the wall design as that information was not provided to them upon request. November 2016, Council passed a resolution requesting representation from South Jersey to be included on the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. July 2017, the mayor sent a letter to then Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno, asking for the governor's help lobbying the New Jersey Turnpike Authority to revisit the need for mitigation. August 2017, the New Jersey Turnpike Authority responded with a copy of a letter from 2014 explaining the criteria for a sound wall and how it was not met for this project. September 2017, the mayor again wrote to the 10th District officials asking for their help. January 2018, Mayor and his staff met with representatives from the 10th Legislative District Office and residents of Evergreen Woods. March 2018, the Mayor sent a follow-up letter to the 10th Legislative Office. March 2019, Mayor sent a letter to Governor Phil Murphy asking for assistance with the New Jersey Turnpike Authority. May 2019, Township staff met with the residents of Evergreen Woods. August 2019, Township staff met with residents of Evergreen Woods and a traffic engineer. August 2019, noise study proposal signed.
Mr. Sluka.
Well, I did thank the administration for some of their work, and the council has accomplished nothing, is what you're telling me, in 7 years. And basically, the mayor has accomplished nothing. We still have COPD impacting our seniors, asthma impacting our children, kids in school still not having problems. We've accomplished nothing in 7 years. Talk is cheap. That's all you did. Think of it that way. 7 years of nothing. No accomplishment. Not one thing you said out of that whole group was an accomplishment. It was, I wrote a letter to the governor, I did this, so we sent us something. The administration at least tried, made an effort, but they failed also. The bureaucrats have won so far, anyhow. Thank you.
Mr. Brill.
Stephen Brill, Evergreen Woods. I want to thank the council and the mayor for their aid in getting this sound study done, or initiated, and all the help that you've given us through the years. We could not have persisted without your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Foster.
Sam Foster, 108 Chico Drive. I'm sorry, you said that. I'm sorry if I'm annoying you, because it seemed like you were, when you called on me, it was like you dreaded me talking, so I'll just connect this quick. About the comments that went back and forth here about what the man from Evergreen Woods was saying, isn't it more appropriate for the council comments rather than public comments?
I'm sorry?
Just procedural, for procedural reasons, procedural question. The comments that are made by the council members about what was going on at Evergreen Woods, isn't that more appropriate for them to say during the council comments rather than during the public comments?
No, that was addressing the remarks
So
that
it's
Mr.
back and
Sluka
forth?
made in
Is
his
it
letter,
acceptable?
yes.
Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Briggs.
I think everybody knows that the council and the mayor and the administration have been very involved in this. It can be ignored because nothing was done. I, as a tax-paying resident, think that 3 people that live in Evergreen Wood Park, out of how many people that live there, Why weren't they out marching on the parkway saying, we want this fixed, we want that done? They didn't do anything on their own to get it fixed. They want everybody else to fix it for them. Brick Hospital, I don't know if anybody's here long enough to remember Brick Hospital, was started by a group of people that said, we need a hospital in Brick. Point is not capable anymore of handling the volume that's going there. Do we think that a bag of money flew down? No. People did fundraising, had events to raise the money to build that hospital. Same way Evergreenwood could have started 7 years ago with a program to get people to pay attention to it. Let's face it, nobody listens to 3 people. Thank you.
Ms. Spector?
I don't remember exactly that saying by Margaret Mead that a small group of people is enough to get things done. We spoke for everybody. We tried to get people to do things. You can't get people, you know how hard it is to get people to do anything. We run radio, TV, everything. We appreciate everything that you've done to help us. We have just some people and the Turnpike Authority and even both governors that did absolutely zero to help us. So, we're pretty much, say, fighting City Hall here. But we do appreciate everything you said that you've done to help us. And getting the engineer was perfect. So I really appreciate that because you can only fight them with data. And we're hoping that he is taking this time to actually show them that all the modeling that they did is pretty much obsolete in comparison with everything that's happened, which is unprecedented, which they're trying to use all of their obsolete policies to pretty much cookie cutter cover everything that can possibly come up to exclude everybody that actually qualifies for a wall. So we appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you. Anyone else from public tonight? Seeing none, close public. Ms. Bergen?
I have nothing, thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you. I had the opportunity to have a meeting with the Speaker of the Assembly, Craig Coughlin, and I specifically had 2 things on the agenda to speak with him. The first was that the senior and condo communities bill, that S-2425, that the council had passed a resolution opposing. He did say he was surprised that there was as much uprising against it as there was, and he doesn't plan on, as Speaker, he gets control of the agenda similar to the Council President. So when people have ideas for things that go on the agenda, it goes through a committee and then eventually makes its way, and then the Council President would put it on the agenda. Similar to Speaker of the Assembly, the same thing. So things get presented, and then it goes to, goes to a committee, and then the Speaker decides whether or not something goes on the agenda. And he says because of the, our resolution that came out, and he said there were some other, communities as well, that he's going to take a hard look at it and keep it in the committee for a while to discuss it and see what type of solution can be made to address everybody's concerns that have opposed that. So that was a successful part of the call. And then I had to bring up the school funding formula. Again, that was something that the council passed recently, asking them to do a new formula. He says he doesn't know whether or not a new formula is going to happen, but what he does know is that there was $22 or $23 million worth of emergency aid that is being made available for the entire state of New Jersey, and he wanted to make sure that we applied for that. When I say we, I mean the school, not us. So the school applied. We did check, and they did apply for it. And he said hopefully within the next couple weeks we will be hearing whether or not we receive some of that emergency aid, which will go towards that they cut $2.2 million from us from this year, and they're trying to retain that back over at the school, so they did apply for that emergency funding. So he said they fully, as an assembly, he said we were behind fully funding that emergency funding, and hopefully Brick will get a piece of that. So overall, good call with the assembly speaker. I haven't had the opportunity to speak with him before that on issues of government. The VA clinic, everybody's heard, I think, that they're supposed to make a decision and make an announcement on September 30th. We've heard that a few times along the way, and now it's getting closer, September 24th, and usually by this time they've already said, oh no, we're not going to make an announcement until 3 months later or 6 months later or something, so hopefully it will happen. I just want to remind everybody, the VA clinic, there's 2 pieces of property that applied, and it seems like there's only movement with one here in Brick Township, which is that triangle piece of property that was part of the application process. And they had to propose a 75,000 square foot building. They have to have at least 400 parking spaces. They have to have some of the parking spaces actually be for motorcycles, because a lot of veterans ride motorcycles. They also have to have a New Jersey Transit bus stop, and it's all as far as the space and the square footage and all. So that's all does fit on that particular site. And hopefully we will hear from the VA on September 30th that they have chosen Brick Township to keep that VA clinic. It means a lot to our veterans. It's going to save them. Right now, for a simple procedure like an epidural injection, which is a shot to the back, usually you're under anesthesia, you don't have to be. Right now, the veterans have to drive all the way up to West Orange in order to have those procedures done. With this new facility, they will be able to have them right here in Brick Township at the new VA clinic, as well as some other scopes, arthroscopic surgeries, things like that they will be able to do here. The open heart surgeries, the more neurologic, they're still going to send out probably to other, to the mainline hospitals, or they're going to have to still go up north. But for a lot of the simple procedures, guys, men and women were wasting their time going all the way up to East Orange, 2.5 hours sitting around waiting for the bus to bring them back and everything. So hopefully that we get chosen here on September 30th. Next thing I wanted to update everybody about is the opioid lawsuit. It has been filed. As a town, we are suing 36 different defendants that are the law firm we retained, which is a national law firm that they have determined are the manufacturers of opioids, and they are responsible for getting various people hooked on painkillers. There's been so many people that we heard about that hurt their back playing basketball. They end up getting prescribed OxyContin, and then after a couple months of doing that, obviously the doctors no longer feel that they need the OxyContins because they should be better, but unfortunately they're addicted, and they probably got addicted the first time they took a pill. And then the people eventually, a lot of them, buy the pills on the street for as long as they can afford that, and then eventually they lose their jobs and things like that and end up on heroin. And that is what our opioid lawsuit is all about. So we've spent a lot of money. As everybody knows, we've increased the number of our police officers because we increased our community policing section. We're part of the Blue Heart program, which is on Thursdays, you come here to our police station, you can bring your drugs and turn them in. You don't need any money or any insurance. You go through an evaluation and you get brought out to a bed. That obviously costs money, but that's forfeiture money that's paying for that. However, that's damages that these opioid manufacturers should be paying. So hopefully we can get the forfeiture money back for our police officers to use that for other purposes, or maybe even to expand the program. And that's why we want to do this lawsuit. In addition, we have our DARE program. We increased our DARE officers. We have Lead and Seed. We have the Not Even Once program. Neighborhood Watch has expanded. Our bike cops as part of our community policing. So all those costs that right now our taxpayers are paying for, except for the Blue Heart, which is forfeiture money, is being borne by the taxpayers. And we're saying, no, opioid manufacturers, you're the ones who put us in this situation by getting our residents hooked on your stuff and making them turn into addicts. So I'm probably referred to other states and towns have done this across the nation. We did authorize it probably 2 years ago, and it took they do a lot of diligence, finding out the manufacturers, finding out who supplies our area town, as well as what our damages are, and the firm has now filed it, so it is pending in federal court. So that's the update on the opioid lawsuit. The Italian flag raising, for those of you who are interested in that is right here, Friday, October 11th. It's 10:30 in the morning. We start off right here in the courtroom, and there's going to be a group from Italy that will either be dancing, singing, playing instruments. I'm not sure this year who they've invited, but they're straight out of Italy. They're wearing the traditional garb, and they do some type of show here in the courtroom. They exchange gifts with the town, and we give them as gift as well. Then we go outside, we raise the flag, the Italian flag for the month of October, and then the groups go across the street and they perform for the high school. So it's a great day. You can see the performance here. You can see the flag raising. Obviously, you can't get into the high school. That's for safety reasons. But it is a great day, and whether or not you're Italian heritage or not, it's still good event to be able to see what other countries are like. Lastly, we're all elected officials up here, so yeah, we're expected. You're gonna take the heat. People are gonna yell and scream at you. They're gonna tell the truth. They're not gonna tell the truth. They're gonna say you're corrupt, and we don't stop any corruption in town, and all sorts of crazy accusations people are gonna make. But we're elected, and we put ourselves out there, and we ran for election. I understand that. The people who were not elected are the people on the other side of the wall here. You shouldn't be attacking each other, addressing each other. It's just not proper protocol. They're the residents. Everybody's got their own opinion about whatever topic it may be. Everybody comes up. They should go right through the council president, say what their agenda is, whatever it is. You want to say everybody up here is corrupt and everybody's stealing a bunch of money and all this craziness that you want to say. You're not going to get stopped from doing that. But what you don't want to do, what you shouldn't do, really, is turn around and say, oh, Ms. whatever said this, and Mr. whatever said that. It's just not right. The people in the audience are people in the audience, just like you are. Just address the comments, please, through the council president, and address them to us. We can give you the answers. We can give you the answers. When it's turned into basically we had all of our amateur wrestlers here, the amateur wrestling coach, and then the actual public portion, it's turned into professional wrestling, which is really embarrassing. If you're watching this from outside and you have citizens attacking citizens, I mean, it's just crazy. Please, I just ask everybody out there to please think about it before you say anything about another human being, and just act kind to each other, and just try to act as best as you can. That's all I can say. So, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Starkey?
I was going to say some of what the mayor said, but I think instead I just like to say this, that this is, someone mentioned this is a meeting of government, and it is, and it's very important, and what we do here is important. But from my vantage point, there were three great things that happened tonight, and in no particular order. The first was the Weeblos coming and leading the Township in the Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of the meeting. That was great, seeing all those kids lined up with uniforms. The second, in my view, was the two wrestling champions from high schools coming out. I think it is just a core function of government to honor your citizens, especially the children in the community, the students that do great things. And the third thing was when the canines came out and the two young ladies who I know worked very hard to raise funds at their own time, their own cost, their own energy to benefit not only the township but the police officers and the canines who are here. And a lot happened here tonight. I just wanted to highlight that I think those three things were the best things that you've done tonight. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
I have nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary?
No comment.
Councilman Fosman?
I have a couple words. I'd just like to congratulate Tony Caravella on his induction into the New Jersey chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. Thank you for your dedication to the students in Brick, and also my daughter always told me you were one of her favorite high school teachers. Congratulations to Kathy Lindenbaum as the New Jersey State PTA President for the term of 2019 through 2021, and thank you for your dedication to the students, parents, and families and teachers of Brick. And thank you to the Kids for Canines for your fundraising efforts were tremendous. Congratulations to Evan Talmadge, Brick Township High School Wrestling Champion, and congratulations to Vincent Santinello, Brick Memorial High School Wrestling Champion. and congratulations to all our CERT graduates. Now, on another note, first, I'd like to, the bill I presented, the resolution I presented, Bill A-1738, is also known as the New Jersey Safe and Responsible Driver Act. This is about the public safety, just like the anti-sanctuary state and city resolution was that I presented to the town. Murphy continues to require legal citizens to provide 6 points of identification to get a driver's license, but wants to give one to someone who's not required to show a single piece of identification that proves that they are an American citizen. He ordered Bill A-1738 legalizing licenses for potentially 500,000 undocumented immigrants to be on his desk so he can sign it now. I call BS. We need to send a message to the State Assembly Speaker, State President, and Governor that this cannot be allowed. This bill, A-1738, is sending the wrong signal to illegal immigrants that if you come to New Jersey, the Democratic governor reward you with a driver's license, free college, etc. When does the free stuff stop to illegals? When we have thousands of legal citizens who are in need. Seriously, we lost so many lives on 9/11, and we all know how important travel documents were to the terrorists, Traveling documents are as important as weapons to the terrorists, which is stated in the 9/11 Commission report. Murphy touts the opposition of the bill is due to resentment. I said absolutely not. This is about the safety and our public, and not about the notion of identity politics. I am tired of Murphy's socialist propaganda, and so should you. I want to talk about a property which is 74 Fairview Avenue. And the public access path which leads to the dock and sitting area for Brick residents. And speaking with residents, it was brought to my attention, this area was supposed to be maintained by Brick Township, but when I visited the area this weekend, it was in shambles. I took a few photos, which I have here, showing garbage overflowing, a sitting bench missing, and a missing handrail for the stairs. The boards on the steps need to be replaced because they are broken and are a safety hazard. The dock has missing boards, and all of this needs to be addressed by our safety officer as well as others. Public safety to our waterways is essential for our residents and should be properly maintained. Residents also are concerned about a barge located in the water at 74 Fairview. The main concern is kids are playing on it and on the unsafe barge, which appears to be commercial, moored in the water for over a year. Residents stated that they had made numerous calls to the township and received no response. I urge the administration to look at the situation. Now, here's our entrance to the walkway. As everyone can see, it has a sign here for the township. And this is the area where the bench is missing, and the garbage can, and it shows the steps in disarray. And this is also the dock, where the boards are missing on the dock. It's unsafe, and this is where people fish and crab. That should be done. And also, this is an empty lot. So this is the machines that's there. It looks like a part of a dredge, and it's sitting there for over a year, and the kids are going on it and everything, causing. This is what the neighbor was telling me. Now, I don't know if it's legal for them to have this there, and I just got it on the weekend, so I didn't have time to get it out. I just wanted to bring it here, and I can give the administration some information that I have, what I just stated, and maybe they can send out somebody, maybe close that dock down until it's repaired.
We have been at the site many times.
Yeah, and I just went there on the weekend. Somebody called me, and I went out there, and I viewed it, and I took the pictures of it and everything.
And
So I
we've
will
done
get
the same. We have pictures, we've sent code enforcement, we've sent engineering. The property, the vacant property photos that you showed do not belong to the township, they're privately owned.
It's a marina in Point Pleasant.
I have the name of the owner, but I'll just wanted to indicate that we have been in contact with the owner, we've cited the owner. Our problem is what lies in the waterway, which is the barge. We have no regulatory authority over the waterway or the barge, and we are trying to talk with the Marine Police about asserting some authority they may have on that barge. That's been very problematic for us to get a response to. But we have been out there, we have photos, I'd be happy to add yours to our file, and we're doing what we can to get the owners to maintain the property.
Okay, and how about, this is ours. This property here on the side, this is township right away to the dock down there, and the dock's in disarray. I would say maybe we should go down there and lock the dock off so nobody goes on it until it's repaired.
I don't believe we own the dock, but if we do, then we'll
Because the way
rope it
that
off.
the pathway goes down, it comes down, take a look, I'll show you the pictures here, what it is.
Right,
You can
but
see
I'm
it.
going to look at the ownership. So I know you're out there this weekend, we've been looking.
Yeah, I'm
into
going
it,
by what
so-
the residents told me. They say it's the township's responsibility. That's all they told me.
Okay, well, we
So-
do get that a lot for folks that want us to take responsibility for things that we can't because they assume we own it or it's our responsibility. If it is, we will address it immediately. If it's not, we'll try to get the owner, we'll cite the owner and try to get them to be compliant with the
You-
code.
Code enforcement was out there, obviously, if they're talking about that dredge that's out there, or
The barge?
the barge out in the water, so they must have seen
Yep.
if that was ours or not. I
Yes,
mean,
we've been out there and we've been in touch with the property owner about the parts.
No, I'm talking about the dock, and I'm talking about the sitting area where they are, and steps going down, and various benches missing, and I think it looks like the township's, I
I
mean,
don't believe that it is, but I will absolutely confirm
thank you
that.
very much.
You're very welcome.
That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pontoriero?
Thank you, Madam President. I wanted to echo the comments of Mr. Starkey, which I believe were well taken. I want to thank the Webelos, PAC 39, for coming out and leading us in our pledge this evening. I do think it's important that we honor the children of our community who are taking positive steps and making positive action, because these children will at some point be the future of Brick. Hopefully they love Brick as much as most of us do and want to be here. I especially congratulate the efforts of Colleen and Maya, who founded the organization 2 years ago. I understand did all the paperwork themselves, didn't rely on adults to even do the, quote, legal end of it. They just wanted to help the dogs in our community. And I think that it's very, very important to say, look, whether one of them was a council member's child is not relevant to the fact that it's a child who took time and did good. Reward that. It's important. We take a lot of time to point out what negative things that children in our community do. We have to take at least as much time to acknowledge the positive. Last time that we were here, I pointed out that it was Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month this month. This month is also Mental Health Awareness Month. It's very important when we're looking at mental health awareness to remember that one of the populations that's hit the hardest with mental health issues are veterans. Many are left after their service with PTSD and other forms of trauma as a result of what they experienced helping to protect and defend our country. The Elks on September the 29th at 7:30 p.m. at their lodge on Hooper Avenue is going to have the lighting of the luminaries for Brick's fallen heroes. That's one thing that we can all go out and do. It's lighting it's a bag luminary that represents our allegiance to the men and women who served our country and are not here to get an award or recognition, but their light still burns in our town and makes it brighter. So I think that is important. Again, it's the 29th of September. It's Sunday evening, 7:30 p.m., right at the Brick Elks, and I hope that a lot of you will come out and be a part of what is a very moving and very important experience. I'm sitting here with fingers crossed that we get the news from the VA that this can finally go through, and I'm very hopeful this year that on September 30th, the day after this event, we get the news that we're going to have our clinic. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Dio.
Yes, thank you. There is a new buy-in brick business. It's an HVAC business, and I believe it's a 7.5%, but unfortunately, it is in my phone, in my emails, and I forgot to write it down before the meeting. So if anybody needs an HVAC buy-in brick business, call Darren in administration. He will be able to give you the name and the information for that new buy-in brick business. And I just want to wish Joanne and Kevin a happy pre-birthday, because I don't believe we have a council meeting before that. So, happy birthday.
Thank you. And right back to Councilman Momolo.
Thank you, Madam President. Recently, the Garden Club had their 20th anniversary. The mayor, Council President Sapsik, Vice President Crate, Councilwoman DeYoung, and myself attended. They had a great little celebration. We want to thank them for all their hard work. They volunteer. They plant all the pretty areas around town. They do a great job, and I want to thank them and I want to recognize them for doing such a great job. Thank you to the We Blow Pack 39 for leading us to Pledge of Allegiance. Kala, Maya, great job on the fundraising. You should be very proud of your daughter, Councilwoman Crate. It saves the taxpayers money. It's always a good thing. So that's a great thing, and you should be very proud of that. Congratulations to all the wrestlers that we're honored tonight, and also our new CERT members. They do a great job, and we appreciate their help with the town and when we have a serious situation. When we do a resolution up here, it's to show support or opposition to a bill. It's not a law stating that we're putting a law into place, but when we get a resolution handed to us, it goes to a committee for a reason, because it's looked at and it's decided whether we're making a decision for the whole town. So we want to make sure that we discuss the resolutions and not just have something thrown on the table and vote on it. So that's why resolutions have to go through the proper channel. And with that, everyone have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Council Vice President Crate.
I have nothing.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate Vincent and Evan obviously on their athletic achievement, but it always, to me, is a testament to this community and our schools and everyone working together when you see two athletes at the top of their game athletically that are also at the top of their game academically. And that was really important. It was the last thing on the bio that I read on each of them, that they each had a 3.5 GPA. And when you're that dedicated to your sport, it's a heavy lift to be able to also stay that focused and dedicated to their academics. So I'd like to congratulate them both, along with Coach Caravella for his lifetime achievement. And then certainly our CERT team members, that the training is pretty long and intensive. They dedicate a lot of time to it, and then they dedicate a lot of time to serving the community. And I really wanted to congratulate them on graduating the program, but also on their service to our community, because they're a very big help. And if you see them out and about in their green shirts or the bright green vests at an event, I'd urge everyone to please take a moment to thank them as well. Finally, I was at an event in Toms River for my job this weekend, and I met the folks from the Anchor Family Success Center. The Family Success Center program is a program it's a grant-funded program from the Department of New Jersey Children and Families, and they are located regionally. Anchor had been the Toms River Family Success Center. They recently relocated to Brick. They are located at 101 Prosper Way, Unit 10, if I'm not mistaken. That's in the area behind the ShopRite. The goals of the Family Success Center are to promote family well-being, link families to community services, empower and support families, and help families identify and build their own strengths. Their services include development of family success plans, life skills and job readiness, housing resources, parent education, parent-child activities, linkages and referrals, advocacy, family health, and employment-related services. You can drop in. Their hours are Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. She gave me some of these cards. I will leave them outside, but I would encourage everyone and anyone to stop in and visit. You might be surprised at the programs that they have that might be helpful to you. They're particularly concerned with assisting grandparents who are raising their grandchildren, and also foster parents. And all their services are free. Again, they're paid for by a grant from the state. And that's all I have this evening. Our next meeting will be Monday, October 7th at 7 p.m. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.